So I'm always trying to stretch deeper and talk about certain things that everybody seems to talk about, but not as deep as I try to take it. So I was scrolling and I seen a young gentleman that a lot of people know. He says a lot of things that triggers people, but he also says a lot of things that's powerful. And I wanted to research and see where he was coming from. And it was talking about what shapes who you become. Check the brother Charleston White out.
Why do you think black folks so fucked up?
It ain't black folks. It's your mother and your father. Stop looking at black folks. Your mother, your father. Go to those conditions and where you come from. Don't look outside of that.
No matter what race.
Your mother and your father, your bloodline.
Your reflection.
Not your color, your bloodline. Nigga, all of us ain't royalty.
Right.
So I listened to that and I thought about it. It's kind of deep, and I wanted to have a conversation about it. Talk to you guys. What's your thoughts about what determines who you become? And to me, who you become is not by accident. It's not a random thing. It's not luck. And it's not just God's plan or the universe. Because a lot of us try to compartmentalize it as just throw it off. But in reality, who you become is a combination of things, a combination of forces. Some of it you control and some you don't. That's the deep aspect. So I want to take it a step deeper than where my brother was at. I want to say, before you developed opinions, before you built confidence, before you chose anything, your environment chose for you. And these things may be reflective of your parents. The household you grew up in, the money or lack of money surrounding you, the way love was shown to you or not shown, the conversations you had or overheard, the trauma you experienced, the standards that were normalized. If you grew up around chaos, you possibly normalized chaos. If you grew up around ambition, ambition may have felt normal for the most part. This is the key, right? Environment influences you. It doesn't necessarily permanently define you. You become somebody through repetition. The books you read repeatedly, the excuses you repeatedly use or make, the discipline you repeatedly avoided, the risks you repeatedly take. One decision won't change you, but 1,000 small ones will. And character is habits repeated over time, stacked over time. If you choose comfort daily, laziness, you become fragile. If you choose work, growth daily, you become resilient. The things you tell yourself, this may be one of the most powerfulest factors of them all. Imagine saying, you're telling yourself, I'm unlucky. I'm trash. Women are impossible. Men are no good. Nice guys finish last. Success not for me, it's for other people. Your brain will possibly build a personality around that belief. That's how powerful That's how powerful your thoughts are. Your identity will start to follow your internal narrative of what you think about yourself. So if you say you can't do it, you can't do it. You hear me? Two people can go through the same trauma. One could become bitter. The other one could become disciplined. If you follow me and understand why. It's because you both interpreted the story differently. And that energy transfers. Standards transfer. Ambition transfers. And also, one of the most scariest things that I see alienating and failing people is insecurity. It transfers. Start spending a lot of time around complainers, you become one. Spend time around builders, you start to build. Your circle, a lot of times, a consistency within that circle will shape your ceiling. They say, show me somebody closest, 5 closest friends, and I can predict their future personality or actually where they may end up. You do have one-offs, anomalies, but this is not the norm. Okay? The ability to take accountability is where transformation separates you from stagnation. 2 people fail. One of them say, it's my fault. I need to adjust. The other one say, it's their fault. They did me wrong. It's the system. One of them showing growth. One of them showing repeat. Accountability will accelerate your identity and the evolution of said identity. Avoiding accountability will leave you stagnant. It'll freeze you in time. We see it every day. Constantly, over and over. Same outcome, no accountability. We got to deal with pain. Pain is one of the most ultimate sculptors, right? Carving you out. Pain has more impact on us as people than comfort. Breakups, money, financial struggles, rejection, embarrassment, failure. Pain forces us to reflect, which is a powerful tool. However, those of us that use pain to build discipline, others will use that pain to justify dysfunction. You understand? So it's not the pain that decides who you become. It's the way you respond to the pain, the way you reflect on the things that you've been through. Okay? You consume certain things daily, and that could shape you more than you actually realize. Subconsciously, these people you're around, complaining, you find yourself doing the same thing. Lazy, you find yourself doing the same thing. You start to watch certain podcasts. If this information is invaluable, that turns into you. The TikToks, the YouTube debates, the relationship narratives, the city girl advice, the alpha advice, all these things play a role on shaping your subconscious, even though you may not know it. If you consume outrage, you become reactive. If you consume wisdom, you become thoughtful. These things are very, very, very important. We mentally digest different things on a regular basis every single day. We mentally digest things, right? And therefore, our minds become what we consume, what we feed it. Within the context of what we read, what we see, and within the context of the environment that we put ourselves in. Time alone doesn't change people. It's the direction and the trajectory plus the time that changes people. Okay? If you walk north for a significant amount of years and then you end up somewhere very different if you walk south. So that drift creates average outcome. Drifting creates average outcome. Intentional direction creates powerful outcomes, more advanced than average. Hence, sitting here doing the podcast once a month, gonna be a different outcome if I sit here and do the podcast 4 times a month. If I sit here and do the podcast 20 times a month. Most people don't consciously choose who they want to become. They react, they cope, they adapt, they survive. And that's going to be towards the very few who are willing to sacrifice and put a heavy level of work in to get a different result than the next person. But this type of behavior comes with something called self-awareness. The moment you step outside yourself and ask yourself, who am I? Why do I react this way? Why do I attract these type of people? Why do I sabotage good things, successful things? Why do I fear discipline? Why do I want to be loose and promiscuous? I face these things also. Nobody's exempt. And at that point, if you're able to do that, that's when your evolution starts to begin. Because without that self-awareness, you're just going to repeat the same patterns. With that self-awareness, you're going to interrupt that pattern. You're going to look for a different outcome. You're going to want a different result. And at this point, you're going to put some self-standards. You're going to start to have some standards. And it's going to allow you to say to yourself, what do I tolerate in relationships? Changing the trajectory of where you once was going in a positive way. What do you tolerate within yourself? What do you tolerate financially? What do you tolerate socially? Low standards create low outcome. High standards require uncomfortable growth, which will in turn create high outcomes. And also, who you become is directly tied to what you refuse to accept. Not tolerating that, so the things coming your way gonna be on a certain level because you're looking past that myopic, mediocre chaos. You didn't choose your starting point, but at a certain age, you are choosing your direction. And every year you avoid changing patterns, you are reinforcing an identity. You either building something great and powerful or you rehearsing something average. Period. It's actually deep because some people may feel that this is subjective, but what I try to do is look outside, check the temperature of society, have conversations to see why are the people in the condition that they are in today. Because identity is not a moment, it's momentum. Get you some.